Welcome to So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. If you are trying to evaluate whether real estate is the right career for you, wondering whether you are doing the right things to launch into quick success, or looking for tips and tools you can use today to become a more productive agent, this is your podcast. Welcome to So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. This is season 4, Learning from Legends. And today we have a legendary lead converter here with us to share his secrets for cracking that code that we know everybody struggles with for lead conversion. So he's here to share some tips and strategies with us. So Hao Dang, the leader of the Hao Dang Team, the top producing real estate team in Bellevue, Washington, is here to join us today. Hao, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Meredith.
Of course. So share with us for a second your snapshot in time. What's the market like in Bellevue right now, or in the Washington area in general?
So right now, what we're seeing is obviously low inventory. I think we're experiencing that across the entire country. Obviously, rates are a little high, but we are still seeing multiple offers if the home is priced right. Priced right, meaning that if you were to list a home back in November, December prices, you're going to get multiple offers. Rather than pricing on homes that just sold a week or 2 weeks ago, you're probably going to sell at market value, if that, or it might even sit on the market.
Yeah.
So people want to see the lower price, get attracted, and then come in, take a look, and bid it up a little bit. So,
yeah, very good philosophy, and that's a nice way to frame it. If you're pricing, based on a few months ago when we had that tiny little dip in the market, then you're probably pricing about right, rather than trying to leapfrog the last offer or last sale that happened. So we will get into some more strategy pieces in a minute, but share with us how did you find your way to real estate to begin with?
So funny enough, my background's actually, I was a software developer before real estate, but before that, I actually owned my own business. So that's where it started when I was 12. I'll just start with that just real briefly. So my parents were going through a divorce during that time. And so I picked up tennis as an outlet to kind of let my frustration out. So I played a lot of tennis tournaments. I went to Bolletary, which is Andre Agassi, if we know who he is, like way back in the day. Long story short, I was breaking tennis strings pretty often. And so what I would do is I'd go play at tennis tournaments and try to go get business, not necessarily go get business, but just go play at more tournaments. One day I came home and I took 30 rackets with me saying, hey, I can string all these rackets, bring it back to the next day. And this will kind of lead into my real estate story here. I had 30 rackets, obviously being in middle school. I couldn't string all the rackets before the next morning. I promised everyone I would deliver it within 24 hours. So I went out and I found 4 friends that can help me string rackets. At the time, I was stringing rackets at $15, $1.50 for the string. So I'd make about, $13.50, make $56 an hour. Okay. And so I would go out and have 4 other people string, give them 7. I take 8. So I'm making $32 off one person. So I was making almost close to $180 an hour as a 12-year-old. Fast forward, my mom's like, hey, you need to go get a real job. So I taught myself software development, taught myself the program, did that for about 7 years. Segue into real estate. I learned how to actually leverage time and leverage others and know how to delegate. So I started a real estate team. So fast forward 12 years later from selling or doing tennis rackets, I actually found other people that could sell homes. So it kind of went full circle. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew how to leverage and delegate really well earlier on. So it helped with my real estate. Got started in real estate in 2002. Did really well all the way up till 2008, just like everyone else. Just like pre-COVID till, up until last year. Didn't really start building a team until 2012. 13 is when I first got onto Zillow. I remember buying my first zip code for $400. Today, the leads are probably about $1,000 to $2,000 per lead, not per zip code.
Right.
And so that's how I started.
Wow. That is such a cool story. So I have to ask you, when you hear about people who are, maybe not entrepreneurial naturally, does it give you any pause as to whether they can be significantly effective real estate agents, or do you think you need to have a little bit of that entrepreneurial spirit, if I can talk?
Some of the things that we look for in teammates or new agents is someone who has a competitive grit And so like I play sports, I play, basketball, I play tennis. And I think someone who plays sports, and I'm just kind of just basing my own opinion on that, is they will figure out ways to win.
Mm,
So like if you're down 4-0 in a set, or you're down in a basketball game 30-15, is you're going to find ways to come back. And so same thing with real estate. When the market shifts, you're going to find ways to excel in any market. It doesn't matter if rates are high, prices are high, prices are down. Someone needs to sell a house, but they can't buy until they sell first. You're going to find a way. You're going to be like water. You're going to go up, you're going to go under, you're going to go through, you're going to go around. You're going to be formless. And you're just not going to let anything bother you. And
yeah.
so I think someone who has a competitive mindset is going to do well in real estate.
Very interesting. Yeah. So that's an interesting thing, even just like hearing it as a team leader and thinking about that as a way to kind of filter people who come in to talk about joining a team. Interesting. Okay. And tell me about how you got from that, like Zillow, getting your first Zillow leads. Did you realize right away that you were going to need to leverage that as a generator of revenue and as an effective strategy for your business, or did you think, oh, I can handle these leads at first?
Right. That's a great question. So I converted my first lead. Very fortunate. Came in as a $900,000 lead on that 400, and I converted it within probably 10 days or so. I mean, I just know if I get a client in front of me, I just know that I can sell them a home. I can find them what they're looking for. And so I took that. I made 3%, so $27,000 in that one. I took that and I purchased 2 different zip codes. At that point, I probably was getting about 15 to 20 leads. I went out that point to go get a transaction coordinator, or so someone who could write up all my offers, organize all my listings, work with all the vendors and contractors, stages, photographers, you name it. But the biggest thing is that person was local. And so when I got tied up in a showing, I couldn't do another showing, she would help me with my showing. From there, if there was an inspection that needed to be done, she would sit out the inspection so I can go out and meet with the next client. So she always did the back end stuff so that I can go out and meet, so I can be in front and face to face with the client.
Wow. So you leveraged not only the TC, the time there, but you reinvested right away into what had already been proven itself to be a good revenue source for you.
Correct. Yeah. There's one other thing I'll add to Meredith is I had her drive me around, and people are like, hey, how do you get more time in a day? And I think anyone that's listening to this, try this for a period of a month. Your business will change drastically. So instead of paying her, I brought her on as a new agent. I trained her and I paid her like $2,000 a month. I had her pick me up from my home, drive me 2 hours a day. So 2 times 5 is 10, times 4 weeks is 40 hours. I actually had 200 work hours in 1 month when everyone else had 160. So getting one extra work week in a month was so crucial to growing the business exponentially. I can talk on the phone, I can text, I can send emails, I could do everything while she's driving. So imagine getting more of your time back. So you don't have to take work home at the end of the day.
Totally brilliant. Yeah, that's one of those with the 4 freedoms. I think that's Dan Sullivan, right? Freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of purpose. What's the other one? I'm missing it. I'll figure it out before we finish today. Okay, so you've got that. Now the TC, I feel like that is a relatively, maybe an easier role to fill. You've got like specific KPIs, specific things that you want that TC to do. Of course, they have to be responsible. They have to be responsive. They have to, have a good work ethic. What I have found, and I keep hearing this everywhere I go from team leaders and from agents who have tried to leverage their Zillow Flex or Zillow leads to produce more revenue, is that they struggle with that lead conversion piece, especially if they're not the ones doing the lead conversion. Because you and I do a pretty good job. Like you said, we can get in front of somebody, we're going to convert the lead. But finding the person and training them properly to convert the lead the same way that you and I would, that seems to be a resonant challenge among like every top producing agent that I talk to who worked with any kind of online lead generation source. So give us you're kind of like, first of all, basic, is there a theory on lead conversion? Are there specific scripts that you use? What's like kind of the basic piece of it that you feel like is a formula for success?
So I'll give you the secret sauce. Okay. So the secret sauce in the kitchen everybody wants. So it's open houses in the beginning. So before anyone gets on any type of lead gen, so bringing on a new agent is get them onto open houses. We call them flash opens here in Seattle. And it's something that I created. And so you're doing an open house from 11 to 1, 2 to 4 on Saturday, 11 to 1, 2 to 4 on Sunday. So you're doing 4 open houses. Do that for a period of 4 weeks. You've done 16 open houses. From there, you're getting familiar with the area, zip codes, cities, and all the different homes in the neighborhood. So for homes from like the 1960s all the way to new construction. Doing 16 open houses in 1 month, now they see all your signs. They think you're what? A local expert.
Mm-hmm.
A local expert that knows the area. You have all, it looks like you control all the inventory because you're putting signs out everywhere. And at the time, I was putting out 8 to 16 signs, not just your typical 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And someone told me, the more signs you put out, it's like a big fishing net. I was like, okay, well, what if I can put out 16 on one open house? I put them on every street that direct to the same house.
Yeah.
By doing so, every single week, everyone's like, wow, this guy does a lot of business, or this person does a lot of business.
Yep.
So I was picking up buyers after buyers after buyers, sellers after sellers after sellers. That first year, I closed 42 transactions, only because we thought I was an expert in the area. And then anything that they were looking for, I knew everything that was coming up in that area by talking to the other listing agents. So if something that was coming on that's either on market, coming to market, or off market, I knew about it. And so I just became an expert in that area.
Wow.
And so I stretched that over one city, and then I went to another city, another city, and city. To answer your question, this really helped with Zillow because I became an expert, because new agents don't know different areas, right? And this is a great way to do it. Second part is open houses really get you in the mode of opening yourself up and opening the client up, because you're going to ask certain questions.
Mm-hmm.
Someone walks in, hey, Meredith, how's it? Well, for one, you walk in, I always introduce myself first, and then I address them by their name. So this is how it goes. You walk in, Meredith. Hi, my name is Hao. Like, how are you? What's your name? Meredith. Great. Nice to meet you. Hey, welcome to the open house. Here's a few things about the house. So I almost always, as soon as you introduce you with your name, I will say your name within a conversation, probably about 10 to 15 times before we're done. So I don't have to like remember your name. I'm already saying your name.
Yeah.
So some of my top questions are, how long have you been looking? I want to know if you're brand new into the market of looking for a home, or if you've been looking for a while, like 1, 2, 3 months, because 1 or 2 or 3 months means that you potentially might be working with another agent.
Right.
Right. One of my other questions is I like to ask is, have you submitted an offer? That tells me 2 things. I hate asking, are you working with an agent? So say, Meredith, are you working with an agent? That's kind of an awkward question, rather than, hey, Meredith, have you submitted any offers in the last month or 2? That tells me 2 things. 1, you're working with an agent. 2, you've already been pre-approved. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 3, do you live locally in the area? So yes or no? Yes, that's awesome. How long have you lived in the area? 1 or 2 years, most likely renting. 3 to 5 years, they most likely own a home. Okay. So they go, yeah, I've been here for like 3 years or 10 years. Oh, that's awesome. So I always kind of relate back to, if they've owned the home for like 8 years, they must probably be upsizing or downsizing. I go, oh, wow, you bought it 8 years ago. So I'm kind of doing the math in my head. And you must have bought at a really good time in 2015. At that point, they'll disclose to me, yes, I own a home and I need to sell before I buy. And or 2, it's I don't own and it's a rental, without asking that question, do you own or do you rent? You following?
Yeah.
Okay. And then some of the other things I'll ask is, if they have an agent, then I kind of just stop it there, but I'll ask, are you open to interviewing other agents? Because they're in there for a reason. Obviously, maybe their agent is not doing anything for them. And at that point, I kind of lead into, has your agent gone over a buyer strategy session with you? So we call it BSS in our team. So buyer strategy session is where we do a market update. So we do a Zoom or we do it in person. And I go over all the different criteria that's important to them: schools, bedrooms, work from home. Do they work out? Do you need a yard? Are schools important? Do you have any pets? So forth.
Mhm.
And then I go over the contract. Hey, here's a basic contract. Has your agent gone over this? No. Okay, so these are different. These are all the different contingencies that you'll need to overcome in order to get a home in this market. I go over all the different contingencies. Each component breaks out to about 15%. The financing, the appraisal, the inspection, the seller disclosure, so forth. And then I also go over inspection report if we have time. I go over their search, I set it up, I send them listings, and from there, I treat this business like a dentist. So before we end the call, I was like, hey, Meredith, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? So do you realize I didn't ask, do you want to see any help? I asked, Meredith, what are you doing tomorrow? A very open-ended question. I'm doing absolutely nothing. And let's say I met you on a Saturday. That's awesome. Hey, are you available to go look at some homes tomorrow? So I say, are you available? Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? You're like, nothing, because you don't know what I'm inviting you to.
Right.
And then I'll say, hey, would you like to go look at a few homes? Well, of course, you're going to say yes, because no one's really been taking you out. So say, are you available in the morning or afternoon? Afternoon. Do you want to do 1 or 3? Let's do 1. Perfect. I'm going to set up 5 different homes, kind of based on what we just went to go search for. And then I'm going to send you a list, and I will send you a text messages of all the homes that we're going to go see. At that point, I'm also going to do an introduction to a lender on that text or email. So I kind of prepare them, hey, if we don't talk to a lender, all we're doing is just window shopping. I mean, unless you guys like go to the mall without a credit card, I don't like to go look for a home without a pre-approval. So, so those are kind of the basic steps, but the open house really gets you prepared for any listings, or for any leads that you may get if you're on a team or on your own. The other thing I would suggest for new agents is to join a team, because by joining a team, you're going to get access to all the different open houses. So I have a builder account, so I get access to about 20 to 40 listings every single week. He sends us a list of all the open houses that they need help with. We respond back to what times we'd like. And that's something that I've set up for the agents over the last 2-3 years. We also have, I'll just say, HomeLight, we have Fast Experts, we have YLocal leads, we have past clients. We have all these different leads in a database. I always say old leads are gold leads. And so go work those. One other thing that we do for the new agents as well is I have them write up a 100 name list. If they don't have a 100 name list, we start with 50. Okay. We want to start where it's something that's achievable. And of that 50 or 100 name list is they will write R. So they will write R or O. R are all the people that are renting that we're going to convert into buyers. And then O are all the people that own a home that you're going to do an equity annual review for. So most agents sell a home and they just disappear from their clients for several years, hoping that the phone will ring. So what we do, or what we've put emphasis on, is doing an equity annual review for any client that has come into our database. So how that call would go is, hey, Meredith, how's it going? Good. Hey, this is Hao from the Hao Dang Team. Hey, how's it going? Are you still enjoying your home? And you say, yes, great. Hey, just the reason for my call is we're just reaching out to our past clients to do an equity annual review. And essentially, it's a market analysis, or in other words, that's what it is. And so what we'll do is like, hey, you bought the house for $300,000 in 2015. It's about 1.2. So we'll state how much equity you have in the home. So it's no different than going and talking to your financial planner. And then they kind of tell you, okay, you've been investing X amount. It's been your yield or appreciation has been X, and this is how much you have in your retirement. So we're doing the exact same thing for our real estate clients.
Awesome strategies. All right. I want to take you back for a second to the open house one. I'm thinking about what the listener might be giving themselves as ways of like going, oh, well, I can't do that, or getting out of things. So I want to hear your kind of objection handlers to this. And I want to take you back to what you said about if someone comes into an open house and you said, we made offers on a house, and they said, well, yeah, we've made a few offers. Are you then saying, so are you working with an agent, or you're just assuming, or say someone is pretty forthcoming about they have an agency agreement. Are you still asking that question?
I was asking if they're open to interviewing other agents. So
okay.
We just helped a client super frustrated. Again, we're not posing ourselves on the client. We just opened up the invitation. I said, so are you open to interviewing other agents? Yes. Yeah, because we talked about the buyer strategy. And he's like, we've never had that before. I go, can I ask you something? He's like, yeah, how many offers have you submitted? He goes, we've submitted 3 offers in the last 3 months. I go, wow. I go, and so one of the questions I asked him is, are you getting a rebate back from your agent? He said, yes. So 1%. I go, well, you've been looking for 3 months. I go, what areas are you interested in? Well, the house that he was submitting on was 1.3. Well, that house today is about 1.425. So now that agent has cost him how much? Almost
Yep.
close to 9%.
That's
So he
brilliant.
said, you know what? I'm really frustrated with the agent. I was planning on making a switch. That's why we kind of went out and started looking at homes on our own,
Mhm.
because he's not finding us or sending us the homes that we're interested in. And that's when I introduced the buyer strategy session. He's like, wow, this makes complete sense. And so at that point, he's like, you know what? I do want to work with you. And I appreciate you being upfront. I go, you know what? We're not here to take anyone from anyone else, but we're here to help you in any capacity that we can. He's like, I appreciate that. The other thing too is his lender was quoting him around 7%, and we were able to introduce him to 5.875 with a local lender. So not
Nice.
only was he pre-approved for 1.4 with his former lender, we got him pre-approved for 1.65 with our current local lender.
You saved him a lot more than that rebate. Wow, that really is coming from a place of service. Really interesting and so brilliant because these people are coming into your open house. So that opens the door. You're not overstepping any ethical boundaries. They're
Not
coming
at
to you,
all.
you're extending an offer, they're accepting it or not accepting it and giving yourself that possible lead that wouldn't have been yours before. And another good tip for those listening, and a good reason not to just send your buyers to open houses, because they could come across somebody like Hao, who knows the right strategy and the right things to say to possibly take that person as their potential clients.
Another way of looking at it, Meredith, is you could be going in and you could be shopping at whatever store, like for a dress, and you walk into another store. Let's say hypothetically, that first store could have been that first agent. The second store is potentially a second agent or third agent.
Yeah.
Is if you are not going to close or work with that client anyways, and you're letting your clients, and this is for all the people that are listening, if you're letting your clients go out to an open house, there's something that they're not satisfied with you. So look at the person in the mirror and figure that out. You're not providing something to them. So
Yeah.
are they cheating on you? They are not. You need to improve your skill set in order to keep
Yeah.
them around.
Bingo.
The other thing too is are you on them like white on rice? Are you staying in touch? Are you sending them listings? Are you updating? Like, are you sending them inspection reports? Are you updating them as far as what the market's doing? Like, if they went to go look at 4 different homes, are you calling the agents, the listing agents, once it goes pending, to update them on how much that house escalated to? And then
Mhm.
are you updating them if you're looking more than a month on what the house closed for?
Right.
The thing is, are you providing value? The answer is no. You have nothing to complain about.
Exactly right. So well said. All right. Then I want to take you to the equity report that you talked about for a second. And I noticed that you said that you pick up the phone and you call the person to whom you're going to send the report. I have a feeling that there could be some agents who are like, oh, that's a great idea, but I'll just email it or I'll just text it to people. What do you say to that?
So we're doing in person. So there's no text, there's no email. So my conversation would go, hey Meredith, hey, I'd love to do equity and review for you. Hey, are you available later this week? Yes, I am. Great. Does Thursday or Friday work best for you? Friday. Okay, awesome. You want to do later in the afternoon or early? Later is fine. How about 3 or 5? 5. Perfect. I'm going to come over for about half an hour. I'll bring some cookies, coffee, macaroons, whatever it may be. And it take about half an hour. I'm just going to go through your home, tell me some of the updates you've done, and I'm gonna crank out a market analysis right in front of you so you can see what your home is worth. Um, the only thing that we ask afterwards is just any, just the only thing that we ask is that if you can just think of us next time you think of anyone else that's looking to transact in real estate. That's all. It's very soft and very subtle, but it's a nice touch. And the thing is, people look online as far as like Redfin or Zillow to see what the home is search. But how often does anyone ever do a market analysis in front of them and break it down, by square footage, beds, bath, finishes, all that good stuff, and then what they've done to the home and stay in touch with them?
Exactly.
You know
Exactly.
how
And
many? You know
I
how
value
often? Yeah, you know how often?
that. Oh, wow.
Zero.
Right.
Think about this. How many of the agents out there have sold a home 2, 3, 4, 10 years ago and done an annual equity review for them every single year, like a financial planner? You know what the percentage is
Right.
out of 1,000?
Probably like
Probably zero.
0.5%. Right.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason is for that technology becomes so, it makes it so easy for everybody to just send things out, but that's where you're differentiating. And I think, to your point, if an agent can kind of flip their own script in their minds from I'm bothering that person to I'm providing value to that person, and people do appreciate it. I think it only takes like once or twice reaching out and seeing how appreciative that potential seller is or that past client is for the time that you took, and they want to see you. They'll tell you if they don't want you to come over for some reason. But if they, if you get in front of them, you're cementing that relationship in a way that no email or text can ever accomplish.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
It's literally half an hour. So if you did 5 in a week, let's say an hour, you spent 5 hours of your 40 hours doing this, and you did 20 in a month, 240 in a year, what would your business look like?
Right.
So we're seeing 1 out of every 6 or 7 either buy, sell, invest, or refer.
Wow.
So those are the numbers. Those are the real numbers.
All right. So now let's go back to, so before you get anybody on your team in line to take leads, they've done the open house piece. They've figured out how to answer questions, how to ask the right questions, how to get people to open up to them a little bit. And then what happens from there? So they've proven themselves, and then they're ready to get on your lead receipt role. Do they have to go through some script training, or what's the next piece?
Yeah, so we do a lot of role play. And then the new agents are allowed, or we let them listen to some of the really, really good calls that the seasoned agents have made. And then from there, they've already done almost everything through what we typically do for online leads that they've already done for open houses, as far as setting up searches, updating the notes in the CRM. Now they've come in well-trained and well-oiled. And so they can go out and just take leads, and they can react fairly quickly. Whereas like if you throw someone on, whether it be MVP or Flex, it's like they don't know the area, they don't know the protocol, they don't know what questions to ask. And honestly, that's why the lead conversions are so low. You're getting 2, 3, 4%, where we're upwards of like 16 to 18, if not 20% on particular months, because the agents are so trained from the beginning. And so it's like this. I remember my father or my mentor told me this, is when that person gets a C, they didn't get a C because they got a C. They got a C because they were not practicing enough to get that A. Mm-hmm. So no different than a sport athlete. On game day on Sunday, that person goes out and plays for 2.5 hours, but they're practicing 40 hours in that week to get to that stage. Well, you need to practice just as hard before you can get onto Zillow leads. They're very expensive. So
right. And I think that's the thing I keep hearing is people are looking at the actual conversion rates, which are so much lower than those that you guys are accomplishing, and looking at all of the lost opportunity in terms of dollars. And it's just devastating when they see what's happening. But I think what's happening is the foundational pieces that you just walked us through are the game changer that they don't have in place. What do you?
These are like the prerequisites to getting onto our lead source. I'm going to say one other thing that I forgot, but it's okay.
So, well, tell me if it comes back to you. What do you say to an agent who comes to you and says, I'm joining you because I know you've got this great lead system. I really want to be able to convert the leads, the online leads that you give your team members, and they suddenly can't do all those open houses, or they aren't converting well from the open houses. Are they just out? Is it one?
They're pretty much out. Yeah, they're pretty much out. Okay. We want to know. So our thing is you have to convert at least 5 leads on your own. So personal referral sphere before you get onto Zillow. Ooh, because if you can't even get 5 closed, you're just going to be burning leads away. And so it's not the cost of the lead, or if you're on Flex, it's the opportunity cost. So if you take a $500,000 lead, yes, it may cost $500 to $1,000. That's only one aspect of it. But the flip side is you just lost, as a company and yourself and the other agent, $12,500 or $15,000 on the back end. Yeah. And so one of the other things too is once they graduate from this, the open houses, is they will make calls after 1 week that the lead comes in, and they'll verify that the lead is working with an agent on our team. So how that call would go is, hi, Meredith, this is Hao from the Hao Dang Team. Hey, it looks like you inquired about purchasing a home in the last week. Just wanted to reach out and see how your home search is coming along, and how your relationship is with your agent. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm working with Hao, or I'm working with blah. Then we know that the relationship was is connected there.
Mhm.
If they say, I'm still looking, and they don't mention the agent's name, at that point, then we'll say, okay, great. Is there anything that I can particularly look for? We have both homes that are both on and off market. We kind of get into dialogue and we'll kind of do a session with them. We'll still wait to see if they bring up the other agent's name. If they don't, that means the agent never made a connection.
Mm.
Does that make
Are
sense?
you reassigning at that point?
Yeah, at that point, we'll check in with the other agent to see if they're working together. If they've gone out on a second showing, and we can see it through showing time because it's tied to our follow boss and our Office 365, we can see if another showing was made. If no other showing was made, no agent name was mentioned, at that point, it doesn't really belong to you because maybe there was a personality mismatch.
Yeah. Okay, that makes complete sense. So you're not relying on the agent to note follow-up boss. You're just having showing time connect.
We are, but we will have the new agent call on the lead after about a week to see if there was actually a connection made.
Yeah.
And sometimes honestly, like I've called as well, and they don't mention the other person, and they go, "Yeah, we'd love to go take a look." So here's the thing, though, just like the open house, because the relationship was not formed for whatever reason, is like that was a lost lead. Either that agent has too many leads, or they didn't make a connection or build rapport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other thing that we'll look at it too is once that search was created, let's say I created a search for you, you never opened up the portal. I never showed another home to you. There was never ever another text or email that was sent out within a period of 7 days. Is a relationship really formed there?
Right, exactly.
Most likely not.
Yeah.
So that's why our lead conversion goes even higher. So we go from like, let's say 8 to 10 to 12 to 16 because we have a lot of safety nets that are built in with the new agents that are coming on. So that's a great way for anyone that's listening is you take a senior agent, you keep them super accountable because then you bring in the new agents, they show them up. And there's nothing that's more proud than I remember one of the agents on our team where he's like, I just got this person in a contract and so has been on your team for like 3 or 5 years. Oh my gosh, it was like game on.
That's
So it keeps everyone on their toes.
That's
So
amazing. That's a great process. Yeah, the safety net piece of it, I think, is key. And then there's this other statistic that I'm sure you've seen that the average conversion time from the initial lead to I think to settlement is like 120 days. So it's like much longer period of time than most people expect it to be. Is that what you're finding too, or is your conversion
not at all. Not at all. So we have a thing called buyer fatigue. And so if I meet you at an open house, Meredith, the next day, I'm showing you 5 to 7 homes. So out of the 5 or 7 homes, I always ask, which of the top 3 homes do you like the best? So we go 1, 2, 3, and we like to name our homes like, hey, that was a hot tub home. That's the Greenbelt home. That's the Seahawk home. And so, okay, so we remember those as, different adjectives or names. And so of that week, we're writing offers on how many? 3 potential homes. And so each week that goes by, we're writing offers on 3. We're usually it's about 2 weeks or 3 weeks in, usually 2 weeks, is we've already shown 14 to 18 homes potentially, but it's the first time out where you're going to show 5 to 7. And the reason for not showing 1 or 2 and showing 5 to 7 is because people want to compare floor plans, neighborhoods, how much natural light, schools, streets, all that good stuff. You have more to compare to up front. Would you rather show 2 homes for 10 weeks, or would you rather show 5 to 7 homes in 2 weeks? It's the exact same number of homes.
Right. True. But
so if you lose out this week and you write up 3 offers, you go to next week, you write up 3 offers, you've written up 6 offers now. So let's say, for example, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit deeper, is on Monday, there's a review date on 2 of the homes. One's at 12, one's at 3. Okay. We submit the offer for 12. I'm going to give you some tips for whoever listening on this one here is I will call the listing agent at 12:15, find out how many offers they have, where we stand in the pile. Okay. I was like, hey, Meredith, what time are you meeting with the seller? I'm meeting the seller at 4:00. Great. I will call back at 3:45 to see if we can revise and update our offer. At that point, let's say, for example, we're at number 4 on the list and the client doesn't want to go up. At that point, I'll send in a rescission. And then we've already submitted an offer for the other one at 4:00. And so I'll go after that one. So within 1 week, we could potentially write up 3 offers, but we're not submitting them at the same time.
Wow. Another great strategy, man. You are giving us so much. This is like full full of gold. All right, so let me take you back to, because I'm trying to, like, in my head, I'm thinking about kind of the flow of what this looks like. So you've got your 16 open houses in a month. And one of the keys there is to offer the opportunity to, meet with your buyer's agent, even if they're already working with another agent. And then to set up that additional appointment to show another 5 houses within how many, is there like a day period?
Within a day or two. Everything's within 24 hours. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then from there, you're setting the expectation that you are going to be writing on probably 3 of those houses that you've shown, with a backup strategy in case that original offer doesn't get accepted. Once that is done, and the agent, well, let me ask you this question. The agent who is in that evaluative period, if they convert from an open house, does that count as one of their
Absolutely
5? It does.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So once they've proven themselves, they're able to convert those 5 leads of their own, then they get put into your paid lead, as we call it, your inbound lead system. And they're able to convert those leads using specific scripts and strategies. And then the same kind of follow-up that avoids that buyer fatigue. No wonder you are killing it. Holy cow. You've got great systems in place.
Yeah. So I took this on with a new agent. She's already converted 31 transactions year over year now. So the system works. New agent that we just brought on, she's putting the contract every 10 days. So system works. For those new agents that are not great over the phone, and I'll add one more thing, is from that open house that she does Saturday, Sunday, she collects all the names, emails, phone numbers. Is my production manager, sometimes me or someone else, a senior agent, will call all those leads on Monday and then follow up with them. So Fortune's is a follow-up. So besides just coming to the open house, we will follow up with those leads that they made. The thing is, getting that contact is so hard. Now we call them, hey, Meredith, just wanted to follow up. Hey, you had met one of my associates and at an open house over in Kirkland. Just wanted to follow up on your home search. Is there anything particular that you're looking for that we can help you find? And then from there, we kind of dive a little bit deeper. And then from there, I'll set up a search, send them out. Then the agent will go out on Tuesday, Wednesday to go look at homes. And then again on Thursday, Friday, or the weekend to go look at homes. So it's a clockwork. And we figured for every home, it's about 30 minutes for a showing with commute. So you're looking at about 5-10 minutes for each home, 15 minutes to commute or 10 minutes to commute, you're on to the next. So if you're looking at 5 homes, it's about 2.5 hours. And so if they get really busy, then they start showing more instead of doing open houses. But within the first month, they're doing purely open houses. And then we advise or suggest that they also do open houses from 11 to 1 on Thursdays and Fridays as well, and make calls when they're slow. And reason being is that's your storefront. It's like having a storefront. So if you're going to sit at an open house, you might as well make calls. If you're not busy, if you're busy at the open house, then you let your calls go. But if you have people, if someone walks in, you can take calls or address someone at the open house. Being at the office, if you want to focus, I get that. But being at the open house on a Thursday, Friday, it works wonders.
Brilliant. Oh my gosh, so much good stuff. Holy cow. This is like chock full of great tips for people. I cannot thank you enough for sharing all of this. And we're almost at time, but is there anything else that you want to share? I'm sure you have a ton more, but that people should know about lead conversion.
You know what? Fortune's in the follow. Keep following up. The one thing I'll say is if you have an iPhone, switch to an Android. One thing is Androids are meant for business. Scheduled text has been my number one, I'd say number one killer, I guess, or number one converter over anyone else. So how that works is I meet someone at an open house, and let's say the open house ends at 2, is I will schedule text that for 4 o'clock. Hi, Meredith. Nice meeting you at the open house. Hey, I just sent you some listings, or let me know if you're available later on for a Zoom, either later this evening or tomorrow. I also sent you the inspection report that you requested. And so I schedule text that, and then I schedule it for the next morning. Good morning, Meredith. This goes out around 8:30. Good morning, Meredith. I sent you an email. Just wanted to confirm that you received it. Hey, I look forward to whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I can schedule that like over and over and over. Another one I'll do is Thursday night or Friday when new listings come out. I'll schedule texts on Friday morning. Hey, some new listings came out. I just sent it to you. let me know if you're available either on Saturday or Sunday to go look at a few more homes. So that way I can book my entire weekend, and either I'm doing open houses and or I'm doing scheduled showings. So scheduled text is on point. It will drive your business exponentially.
And you can only do that on an Android.
On Android, because you can save text, you can categorize it, and that's a whole new topic by itself. So,
come on, Apple, catch up with that. That's important. That's important for us business people. Great stuff, Hao. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. So, if people want to pick your brain or want to come to your team to buy or sell a house or to work with you and take advantage of all the great things that you teach your team members, what's the best way for people to find you?
I'm old school. Just call me on my phone, 206-601-1548, or just my first and last name at Windermere. It's Hao Dang, HAODANG at windermere.com. Super easy. Obviously, there's Instagram and Facebook too, but old fashioned, like to do everything over the phone. So
love it. Love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for this. Everybody is going to listen to this a few times, I think. Feel free to re-listen, take notes, reach out to Hao for more information. Really, really brilliant stuff. Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening today. This has been So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. We'll see you next time. We are so grateful you joined us today. If you've benefited from the advice we share on the show, we hope you'll tune in to our next episode. Interested in learning more about my personal mentoring programs, our Career Kickstart course, or to pick up a copy of my book, Farming for Real Estate Agents, your step-by-step guide for becoming the go-to agent in your local market, visit www.meredithfogel.com and click the Resources tab. If you are curious about becoming part of the List Realty family of agents, go to the www.thelistrealty.com website and click Careers from the About Us page, or find me at the Meredith Fogel Team on social media. Thank you for listening. This has been So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. We'll see you next time.